This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Bruchim Abam. How's everybody doing today? Shalom Aleichem. We continue in the Orchos Chaim of the Rosh. We are in middle of Ois Chaf Beis. The Rosh says, Levarech es boiroi, to bless your Creator. Shehizbia nefesh shoykeka, that He satiated the longing soul. V'im yikalalu b'nei adam, if people curse you, or yecharfuhu, or they shame you, al yashiv lahem davar, do not respond to them. Ela yehei min hane'elafim, be among those who are insulted. We know the Gemara says on the Maila of ne'elavim ve'enam olvim, shoymin charpasa ve'enam meshivim. About such people, we apply the pasuk va'oyhavav kitseis hashemesh bigvurasai. Those who love Hashem are like when the sun goes out in its strength. Interesting. Why is the reward for those who bear insult and tolerate insult that they are like the sun that goes out in its strength? What does the sun have to do with it? So Goldberg explains very beautifully that in the beginning of creation, when the sun was coronated, so to speak, and the moon stood up, and the moon said that the moon said, you can't have two kings. The sun didn't say anything. Sort of the sun accepted its insult, and therefore it remained in its original glory. And that is the connection between someone who tolerates insult is rewarded that they are like Ketseis Hashemesh Bigvurasai. If you look in the Reb Chaim Vital in the Shar HaKedusha, Reb Goldberg cites, he says if somebody shames you, you should not respond. You should be from those who tolerate insult, not to insult others. And about such people it says Va'oyabav Ketseis Hashemesh Bigvurasai. Says the Reb Chaim Vital, be maver on your midos to all those who sin against you. Do not even sense tsar in your heart. If someone insults you, don't even be distressed by it, because it's good for you. Because anyone who's maver al midoisav, ma'avirin lo al kol pshav, and certainly it's Hashem will atone. If Hashem atones pshav, Hashem will atone avonos, chatois. And if you have seichel, says Reb Chaim Vital, you would go out and search and ask for people to be mitzayir you. You hear this? Next time someone doesn't treat you with the proper kavod, next time someone insults you, says Reb Chaim Vital, since anyone who's mavral midoisav, mavir and loyal kol pshav, certainly your avonos and chatoim. Says Reb Chaim Vital, if you had a little seichel, you'd go out into the street and beg people to be mitzayir you. Why? Ki chayim atam mevakeshecha. You're asking for life. Isn't that amazing? Chaim Vital says you would go beg people to insult you. Ki chayim atam mevakeshecha. Now, there's a story that is said about one of the Gdolei Olam, the Amudei Ar, the brother of Yeshua Heller, Rabbi Chiel Heller, and he would sign off all of his tshuvos with the word ha'alav, the insulted one. His mother came from a very reputable family, and she was destined to marry a Gadol b'Yisrael, and somebody made up a false accusation against her, and there's nothing that could be done to put it to rest. And unfortunately, she was forced to marry Amma Oretz Gomor, who was the shamus of the horse driver, and she was Mekabel the Din Shamayim, and she used to say the following tefillah: "V'la'aluvas nefesh toishia," and to the afflicted of souls you should save. She would use this tefillah, which is reserved for Yerushalayim, to mevakesh from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that even though she was not zoicha to marry a Talmid Chacham, that Hashem should give her banim Talmidei Chachamim. And he, from this assistant of the wagon driver, she had 4 Gedolei Olam. One was Rabbi Shua Heller, one was Rabbi Chiel Heller. So That is the great benefit that accrues to somebody who is ne'elavim ve'enam ovim. It's interesting, the Gemara in Yuma Daf Chav Beis Amud Beis asks a question, because it says, Kol Talmid Chacham she'enoi noikem v'noiter enoi Talmid Chacham. Chazal say that a Talmid Chacham has to avenge, has to bear a grudge. And here we're saying someone who is ne'elavim ve'enam ovim, smeichem b'yisurim, we apply oyavav k'tzeis Hashem shegurasa, and the Gemara says, well, the Talmid Chacham should not do anything, but he should bear it in his heart. And the Minchas Chinuch asks, based on this, well, how could David HaMelech forgive Shimi ben Gera? Okay, but that's the Madrega of Ne'elavim ve'enam ovim. Ois Chav Gimel. V'al yetze lariv maher. Do not get into a quarrel easily. And that comes from the pasuk in Mishlei, Perek Chafei pasuk Ches, Al Teitze L'Rav Maher Pin Matasa Ba'achrisa. Basically, you want to make sure before you get involved in a dispute that this is a good idea for you and there's a purpose over here. V'yisrachek min hashvuos, you should distance yourself from swearing. Umin anadarim, and from vows. Ki ba'avoy nadarim bana mesim, because of the sin of unfulfilled vows, young children could die. What in the world does not getting involved in a quarrel easily have to do with distancing yourself from oaths and nadarim? On one level, you could say what they all have in common is don't be impetuous. People very swiftly get involved in quarrel. They may impetuously make an oath or a vow, and that's the common denominator between these three practices. Reb Goldberg explains that someone who investigates something thoroughly will not have to be magder themselves and make a fence to ensure that they fulfill their responsibilities with a neder and a shvua. They will not need external stimuli. Someone who typically contemplates what the ramifications of his actions are has, so to speak, the patience to overcome his Yetzer Hara. He won't have to make a neder or a shvua. Okay, we'll begin Ois Chav Daled. V'yisrachek min haschoik. Distance yourself from laughter, umin hakas, and from anger. Ki mevalbel ruchai v'daitoi. Because it will confuse your spirit and das shel adam. Now the question is, the Rosh already said in Ois Daled you should be misrachek from leitzanos, and in Ois Vav he said you should be misrachek from kas. What is he adding? V'yisrachek min haschoik min hakas. And Rav Goldberg said what he's adding is that until now he was saying to distance yourself because it's wrong. Now he's saying because it confuses your seichel, your ruach. It disturbs your equanimity. And that's not an isser. That's more than that. That's al pi seichel. That's a davar sichli. And something which is sichli is much more chamor than something which is just usser. Which would mean then even a guy has to be careful not to be too light-hearted and not to get angry. This is not just prohibited. This is something that disturbs your equanimity. And if so, this is a matter of seichel, which applies to all mankind. And we'll continue with this Be'ezus Hashem tomorrow. In the meantime, everybody, have yourselves a great day. If anybody wants to get the new Sefer on Bereshis, please, you could get it at rabbidg.com. For those of you in England, they're being shipped to, a box is going to Josh in London, and a box is going to Manchester as well. So that should be available very soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bracha v'hatzlacha.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.